I'm going to show you how to use bands with free weights. Just not quite like this. If you've watched Muscle and Fitness Raw number 28, Banded Abs, and Muscle and Fitness Raw number 32, Band Chest and Triceps Workout, then you know that I'm a true believer in the benefits of bands. You should also know that the main benefits of bands is the type of resistance that they provide. This is known as linear variable resistance. That's just a sciencey term that means they get harder the further you stretch them. This causes you to use more of the fast twitch muscle fibers, which are the muscle fibers that grow the biggest, the fastest, and the strongest. The difference in this Muscle and Fitness Raw video on bands is that now I'm going to teach you how to combine bands with free weights. Numerous studies show that when athletes combine bands with free weights, they gain significantly more strength, power, and even more muscle mass than athletes who train using free weights alone. In fact, one recent study found that athletes combining bands with free weights gain twice as much strength in the bench press, 3 times as much strength in the squat, and twice as much muscle mass as those using free weights alone. If results like that don't get you to use bands in your training, then I don't know what will. But these results aren't so surprising to me. After all, when you combine bands with free weights, you get the best of both worlds. The benefits of bands with the benefits of free weights. The key to adding bands to free weights is using these cuffs, which double as ankle cuffs and barbell cuffs, as you'll see in just a minute. Now let's head over to Gold's where I'll show you how to use them. I'm here at Gold's Gym Hawthorne to show you how to use bands with weights. Let's go. To perform the bench press with bands, place the barbell cuff on the end of the barbell just past the last weight plate, as shown here. Clip the band to the barbell cuff, then carefully run the band underneath the bench all the way to the other side of the barbell and clip it on the barbell cuff. Be sure the middle of the band is under the bench and that the resistance on both sides of the band is equal. Now you're ready to bench press. Lower the bar in a slow and controlled manner, but explode up as fast as possible on the positive portion of the rep, as shown here. You can also use this exact setup for the close grip bench press to work the triceps by simply using a shoulder width grip. To perform the squat with bands, you'll also use the barbell cuffs. Place them on the end of the barbell just like you did for the bench press. However, instead of using one band, you'll be using 2 bands when doing squats with bands. Attach one end of the band to the barbell cuff and run the band underneath the bottom of a power rack or squat rack, and attach the other end to the band back to the barbell cuff, as shown here. Do this on both sides of the barbell, making sure that the middle of the band is underneath the rack, and that the resistance is even on both sides of the band. Once you have both bands in place, you're ready to squat. Another exercise you could perform in the power rack or on a shoulder press rack with bands is the barbell shoulder press. Setup here is similar to the setup for the squat. You'll use one band per side and run the band from the barbell cuff to under the lowest point on the rack and back up to the cuff. The shoulder press is one of the tougher exercises to get used to while using bands for resistance, so be sure to start out light. To perform barbell curls with bands, you'll also need a power rack. However, to set up for curls, you will not use the barbell cuffs. Instead, you'll run the band straight around the bar and under the lowest point of the rack. The reason you don't want to use the barbell cuffs here is because of the height of the bar in the bottom position of the curl. Since the bar is so close to the floor in the bottom position, you need the band to be as short as possible so that you don't lose tension on the bands. If you don't have access to a power rack, you can also perform the barbell curl with bands by setting up the bands in a similar manner to the deadlift, which I will show you next. Bands work great to increase biceps growth because the resistance of the bands increases just as the biceps involvement kicks in, at about the halfway point of the curl. Bands also work well to increase your strength and power on the deadlift. Setting up bands for the deadlift can be difficult since the bar is on the floor in the start position. This makes it tough to get enough tension in the bands at the start position of the dead. However, the trick I'm about to show you makes setup easy and effective. Place the barbell cuffs around the end of the barbell just past the last weight point. Attach one end of the band to one barbell cuff and run the band all the way to the other side of the barbell, attaching the opposite end to the other barbell cuff. Then simply step on the band as you set up for the deadlift. Just be sure that you are stepping on the middle of the band to ensure that the resistance is even on both sides of the bar. Then simply deadlift as you normally would. So consider adding strength bands to free weight exercises like the bench press, close grip bench press, squat, shoulder press, barbell curl, and the deadlift. You'll build more strength and power and even more muscle size. One of my favorite ways to use bands with free weights is to do them as a warm-up. To do this, load the bar with very light weight, about half of what you normally can use for 6 to 10 reps of the exercise. Then attach the bands, as I showed you how, and perform 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 8 reps. And be sure to perform the positive part of the rep as fast and as explosive as possible. This serves as both a warm-up and as a means to build strength and power. To use bands on your working sets, load the bar with about 80% of what you normally can do for 6 to 10 reps. Then add bands to make up the remainder of the resistance. Do 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps in this manner. It's as easy as that. Always start with the easiest band possible to allow your body to get used to the different type of resistance the bands provide. Then, as your muscles adapt to the bands, you can increase the amount of band resistance you place on the bar. And don't forget that with the cuff system that the Muscle and Fitness strength bands provide, you can use more than one band at a time for even greater resistance from the bands.